Recording live from somewhere. This is a special edition of Tissue and the Tape. Of course, I got my brothers here. Philmatic, what up?
What up, baby?
And we got a special appearance by our brother, fellow heat holder himself, Reem. What up?
Yo, what it do, y'all?
Welcome back, baby.
Appreciate it, yo. Appreciate it allowing me to hop on tonight.
Of course, man. We always make sure that everybody knows that we are a quartet. We wouldn't be where we are without you and G. So we like to get
Absolutely.
you guys input anytime we can. It's unfortunate that it is under these circumstances, but we are going to actually just have somewhat of a therapeutic conversation. Hopefully it'll bode that way for us, as well as everyone that gets a chance to check out this episode, which is going to be 155. Phil, I'm going to go ahead and let you just inform the people. You gave just a brief, message that you recorded at the beginning of the last episode where we had Jim as a guest. Just inform the people what we're going to be talking about today, and let's just start from there.
Yeah, man. We had an episode planned that we did with our good friend Jimmy the Blueprint about his new book, Own Your Own Time and Space, and everything's going good. And I get a text alert that says Prodigy from Mobb Deep passed away. So my automatic reaction is like, whatever, it's fake. I need you need more people, basically. And so I start checking, and news source after news source. Started with XXL and Billboard, and just ran Yahoo, and so I'm like, oh wow, this is real. And it just kind of hit. And so rather than bump the episode we already did, I just kind of gave people like a heads up, like of because a lot of people actually hit me up, was like, yo, y'all gonna do something or whatever. And I was like, we have an episode that we already recorded, but of course we're going to do something for one of our favorites and one of the guys who definitely influenced our formative years, if you will. So this is the Prodigy episode, mournfully titled Infamous Eternal, because that's how I want to remember him. He's always going to be rocking you in your face, stabbing your brain with your nose bone. That's the guy, but man, so here we are, man.
Yeah. Reem, when I say the word infamous, man, what comes to mind when I say that word to you? And has it changed from when you initially learned what the word meant to now?
Nah, man. I mean, infamy. One of my favorite people in history is John Dillinger.
Mm-hmm.
And that's infamous right there. But from my formative years, when I think of infamous, I just think of Close Up, Prodigy, Havoc, album I copped maybe like 4 or 5 times in my lifetime. I mean, Vod knows, I don't know if Phil knows, but I got Vic for my whole collection. And I had to re-up quick, man. So like, this is back when you could, sign up with like BGM and get like 20 CDs, and then have to spend like $30 on another CD.
Columbia House.
Exactly. But the infamous is like the infamous Enter the 36 and Illmatic are just albums that get purchased regardless, like off top. Like GP, like there's no, that's what it is, man.
Yeah.
I
can relate to that. I personally, I'm probably right there with you. I've probably purchased it at least 4 times, maybe 5, and that's between like digital, vinyl, cassette, compacted, you know, like
All
basically,
media.
yeah, like any way that you can.
Yeah,
I caught the CD twice. I know that.
Multimedia.
Yeah.
I had a VA CD and I had a Philly CD.
Yeah.
The Infamous. It had the cassette.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then the digital purchase.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I will say. People actually really do. It seems to me people do revere that album properly. It does really get mentioned, you know, pretty well. Like when you talk about group CDs, like what are some of the greatest group CDs? Now, people, they sometimes they don't get it right in terms of they like to call it their debut, and that's not true.
Right.
Let's start there. Who is actually out of the three of us? Who has actually listened to the Poetical Prophets?
Juvenile Hell.
The Juvenile Hell, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think by default, everybody has some exposure to P like early, just because he was on the Boys in the Hood soundtrack.
Yeah.
We didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
But he was right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Radioactive, they play Hit It From the Back. And Primo has the version of that. And I was like, yo, these dudes sound mad young. I was like, yo, how old? I was like, they like my age. And they talk about, and it's like Hit It From. I was like, yo, I need to know more about these dudes. So I went, just off of that, I went in and listened to that joint. I was like, it wasn't the greatest thing I heard, but it wasn't the worst thing either at the time. You know, it was definitely, it wasn't. I see why they changed their style. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm. But it does fall into the whole like Prodigy thing. Like, I mean, just to be talking about that type of subject matter at such a young age. I mean,
his mind was old, man.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that I always liked about him, and what kind of made me gravitate towards him, was the fact that every like start of your end, he started off every day of my life since 11/2/74, and 11/2, that's my birthday. So when I heard him say that, I was like, oh, that's my dude. You know, like obviously anybody that's listened to the show knows that Nelly's my guy also. He's also a November 2nd dude too. So like P and Nelly were like, obviously they're on two totally different ends of the spectrum, but P having, you know, me having a rapper that I share a birthday with was something special. So that already kind of put him in a different light for me. And then just the sheer just lyrical just wizardry that he put out. Let's talk about that a little bit. Like, Reem, how would you describe how he was as a lyricist?
I mean, you know, we dedicated a whole episode to this, yo. When we were talking about dudes who just set it off, and you know, I put him up there with Deck, and you know, it's been hard. I can't even lie to you. Like, I haven't really been able to listen to too much music because, I mean, we kind of just talked about this, but yo, this hurts, man. Like this hurts. This hurts a lot. So, I mean, but he's got shit that just sets the mood, yo. He paints pictures with headlines, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These opening lines are like headlines. You know, they grab.
Absolutely.
And it's just crazy because, like, yo, for most people, he's not going to be like in your quote unquote top 10, but everybody knows and appreciates and recognizes this dude, and that, like, yo, Mobb tracks are, you know, they set the like, you know, they set the pace for your life, man. Like, for us coming up in the 90s, like, and dude spoke about like a lot of pain in his lyrics, yo. But like, yo, he is like the ultimate fighter, yo. Like dude, yo, yeah. He got one lyric, whatever. I mean, I don't remember it verbatim, but you know, he's talking about, yo, just the pain that he's lived from birth, and then like the stuff that we talk about, that's just stress. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yeah, this shit is difficult.
Yeah, man. I mean, y'all both mentioned it, but I mean, like when you actually bust down the lines, I mean, like before he actually starts rapping, just when you hear to all the killers in the $100 billers,
yeah, that's genius, man.
for real niggas who ain't got no feelings, that already puts you in a mindset of like, yo, all right, this isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
like this is about to be some real shit, for lack of a better term, and it gets you, hit those opening lines, gets you in a mind state for the trip that he's about to take you on. I mean, you mentioned the every day of my life since 11/2/74 on the street making nonstop cream galore. I mean, that right there, you know, he's setting you up for everything he's about to tell you about. And one of my personal favorites, hey, yo, I break bread, ribs, $100 bills, pill on the Ducatis and never four wheels. I mean, like that's one of my favorite all-time opening lines, period. Like, excluding nobody. Like when I hear that, I played it today in the car, and it's just like, yo, this just makes me happy. It was sad because, you know, P's gone now, but every time I hear that song, I get hype. I feel good when I hear that song, yo.
Yeah.
That's one of them joints that make you want to rap. You know, you just get that feeling.
Yeah.
What's some of y'all favorite opening lines?
Opening lines?
Yeah, I mean from P.
I mean, I could tell you what my favorite line is because I feel it defines me in my moodiness. I'm temperamental. I snap quick, very touchy. And yo, my attitude is all fucked up and real shitty. I rap like no one out there can fuck with me, yo.
That's one of my favorites too. I mean, again, from Keep It Thorough, to the point when I was doing my 1-2 thing, I sampled that. Yeah, I mean that because that is so fitting. I mean,
yeah. One of my favorites, obviously, Give Up the Goods is just, you know, is just a tunnel banger. But I like how he began that. Hey, yo, Queens get the money, long time, no cash. I'm caught up in the hustle where the guns go blast. Like, I thought that was just ill. Like he gave you like a story in the beginning of that verse. Like he gave you a quick story, like just off the top. But one of my favorite things that he ever said is I'm from QUE, another ENS. So by your small tough talk, I'm not impressed. If I see you in the bridge, I'll make you undress. Give up the money, the polo, especially the guests. Like, like I just always thought that was so slick, man. Like I just always thought he just always had a way of he was a serious dude too. Like he was witty, but it was a different type of wit. It was a wit like you know, like he had a twisted type of wit.
Yeah, like this ain't for jokes. Like
yeah, I'm kind of joking by saying I'm gonna rock you in the face and stab your brain with your nose bone, but I'm not really. But I am, you know, like he painted some like Reem said, he just painted some real vivid pictures to where
similar to Arnie Barnes, nigga.
Yeah, like to where it was like, man, like yo, this dude is like, he's a serious cat. And you know, for those that are familiar with Mobb Deep, like they aren't the biggest dudes out there.
Tiny.
Tiny.
You know, so
they fill signs. You know?
So like, you know, that was something that always came up too. You know, just the fact that their stature kind of put them in a different place anyway, and it seemed like Reams that they also like they were always fighting for that respect just because they were, you know, of a certain stature, but their personalities and also just their confidence, like both of them, when you like pound for pound, when you think about an MC, like that's one of the definite attributes that you have to have is confidence. Like pound for pound, like there aren't two rappers that rap together that were more confident in not only
nobody either
their rhyme skills, but also just what they would do to you, like if you step to them, you know, like you.
Well, see, this is the thing, This is the thing because, I mean, we got to keep it a buck, and I think that I think this is why there is a natural gravitation to Prodigy and why people are feeling the way they are feeling about this dude, because he's very vulnerable. I mean, he's a sick individual all the time. And I mean, he's talking about wanting to snuff niggas just for living and shit, which resulted in him getting his ass whipped on a regular basis,
Oh, for sure.
Like we laughed about P getting fucked up a lot. But he always came back and always spit the hardest shit afterwards, And it was just like, this dude, he's, I mean, I think I said on the show once before, like at one point, like I thought Cube was the hardest nigga walking the planet. Like I knew this nigga wasn't the hardest nigga walking the planet, but he talked the toughest talk that like, even though I knew he could get snuffed at any given time, like, I believe that he got his in also.
Yeah.
And that's because he was a little skinny motherfucker. It's all about who get who first. Like, I know I could get shot, stabbed, knuckled down, or whatever the fuck. I mean, and that's another thing that made him dope because he had that vulnerability and he wasn't one of those like, I'm a super nigga. He's like, this can very well happen to me, but it's all about who get who first. So if I got the chance to get you first, best believe it's on. And I mean, and it just came across so authentic, like in his rhymes, like that he wasn't scared, like knowing that it's a chance that he might get fucked up, and he was still about that life. He wasn't going back down from you if he felt like he had a beef. I mean, Saigon, Keith Murray,
everybody
is in QB,
everybody in Queensbridge.
Yeah. But one of the lines that I think defines him and actually kind of went on to define, part of the culture. I conversate with many men. It's time to begin again. I forgot what I already knew. You hear me, friend? Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. Secret society trying to keep their eye on me. Like very few people, and I might be wrong in saying this, but that might be one of the first times that Illuminati was mentioned, heavy on rap, to where people. I mean, I know Raz had mentioned it, but to that point, like where he put it all in there, like he put in the Illuminati, the secret society, the eye watching me, Big Brother, and then like, flash forward a few years where everybody's the Illuminati, or if you're successful, you're somehow in the Illuminati, and it kind of the meaning kind of got misconstrued, but I thought that was such a powerful line because it spoke to more than just street life. That was like, real life. That was everybody, could kind of relate to that in some way, shape, or form, unless you were the Illuminati,
Well, that also speaks to something that I always felt about the Mobb. Like I felt like they were somewhat of a conscience, like rap, like street rap group. Like they, like whenever you think of conscious, you think of like backpacker. When people make that, like people make that connotation, right? They're talking about Soul Quarians, like Neo Soul, like quote unquote woke.
You use soap made by, some
by
person.
yourself.
Yeah, by yourself.
Right. But like
Homemade deodorants.
I felt like, at least listening to them, like they had a certain consciousness to them, and a certain awareness that they always tried to convey. I mean, one of the you talk about beginning lines, there's a war going on outside, no man is safe from.
You can run, but you can't hide forever.
Like I was just reading maybe Rolling Stone or something, that the guy that was writing about P, he basically said like that's something that has a certain like novel quality to it, to where if someone told you that Mark Twain wrote that 50 years ago, or 70 years ago, like you wouldn't bat an eye at it. Like it's just so poetic, and it really spoke to the type of awareness that he possessed. So I always thought that that was something I felt about him in Havoc too. He definitely let's talk about Havoc for a minute. I mean when you think about producer rappers, if you want to call that a term, like he definitely has to be at the top. Like
so he's definitely, if not one, I guess Kanye is in there, Diamond D,
So they packed a powerful punch together. So I think that was one of the things that made them, they could do a lot of things in-house that, a lot of other groups not named EP.
Yeah. They're one of the most self-contained groups, I think, where like where just them two could put in so much work. It's very similar to Outkast.
Yeah. Reem, what's your favorite the infamous Mobb album?
My favorite the infamous, The Realist.
Okay.
The
Realist. What?
G-Rap.
Okay.
America's Nightmare.
No, that's on Murder Music.
Are you talking about album? You talking about track? Because I was talking about track.
Yeah, like album or track too, either one.
I mean,
a favorite track that wasn't on Infamous is The Realist. Okay. Is Murder Music your favorite non-infamous album?
I think that's changing, Okay. I've been listening to Hell on Earth a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And I have a greater appreciation for it than I had when I, first copped it in like '96. And it's something that gets, spins here and there. But I've gone back, and Hell on Earth is a banger, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Like for real. And like,
the production on there is amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's like later stuff, the Helgalithian stuff, man. Like, this shit is deep, yo. It's very grown man rap, which is where I'm at with it right now. It's just weird because like I look at dude as like, another thing that we kind of touched on, previous episodes, and dude's voices, and like from like 95 to maybe like 99, like P had like the voice.
Yeah.
And then he lost it. Like Murder Music came out and his voice was just deeper. I was like, P fell off. And then he came back. Like everybody just got accustomed to the change in his voice. And then the lyrics just became, I think, a little bit more potent from an older man's perspective, or just a wiser person's perspective.
I mean, this dude was doing songs like, he did an EP with Conway the Machine, one of my favorite dudes right now. He has an EP with him, and they had just appeared on Static Selector's show. They were on there. They were on Sway. West Side Gun, Conway, and Prodigy. They dropped some bars on there. One of those two shows, I can't remember. It was on. They were on both of them.
I think you was right with Static. I think
it was Static, and then Benny was on there when it was on Sway. But yeah, so he was you know, you're talking about a dude that was started in, you know, 93, and this is 2017, and he's still relevant. He's still making good quality hip hop music. And, you know, everybody can't say that, you know, that stretch of a career to where people still want to hear what you have to say. And that's a quality in and of itself. But to your point, Ring, Hell on Earth, I didn't like it as like, because I love the Infamous.
Right.
That's one of, and so when I heard Hell on Earth, it's very dark, and I didn't really appreciate it as much as I do now, like going back and listening to it. I love the beats, but one song in particular, Apostles' Warning.
Oh yeah.
Which is, as I listen to it now, that song's incredible, man. It's I believe it's the last song on the album, and I mean, Drop a Gem on Him is probably my favorite song on the album, just because I love that beat and how they just come off on there, you know, despite the subject matter. But Apostles' Warning is crazy. Mm-hmm. And then of course, you know, Hell on Earth. Every time I hear that though, I always think about Big, you know, his last moment, his last radio moment, every time I hear that. So it kind of took away from me appreciating their actual song, because that's what I would always think about when I heard the beat.
Yeah. One of the things about Hell on Earth that kind of took some of the luster away from it was the fact that, like you mentioned, Drop a Gem on Them was their response, and it was on the album, but you know, maybe 6 weeks prior to it coming out or 7 weeks prior to it coming out, you know, Pocket just passed. So it was like basically, you know, 2 months. And you know what they were saying was something that was probably going to be the start of, you know, more to come. So the fact that you know, that was on the album, and you know, he had his untimely passing, it put a damper on things just a little bit. But it definitely, listening to it now, I can definitely appreciate it.
And it's an underrated diss track too.
It is.
Yeah, it made it hard, because when it came out, like Vaz said, like it got, like, I remember a lot of stores saying they weren't going to carry it, like a lot of the West Coast stores saying they weren't going to carry the album because of that, because Loud was like, we're not taking it off. Well, first Mobb Deep said we're not taking it off, and then Loud was like, it already shipped, whether it did or not. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, that made it that put a little bit of a damper on it. But to right around that same time, one of P's best verses, a lot of people don't even know exists, because it was on LALA. And you know, there was the big controversy with him asking to take his verse off. Depending on who you ask, that's how it went. You know, he ended up using it later on, I think, on Nas on It Was Written. I think he used that, but you know, that's the joint where he's like, been on this planet for 25 years and still strong. The world's rotting like the vein in my father's arm. That joint, that verse right there. And he was instrumental in that whole beef too, because he was like the main one dissing LA on the actual song. Like, I don't think, I listened to the song yesterday, nobody actually dissed LA on the song except P. And I think going back, like I would feel some type of way too if I was him, if the song's called LALA and y'all supposed to diss him, and then I'm the only one that's actually dissing him. Like, you got 5 people on here and I'm the only one, so I look all crazy and y'all just look like, you know, it's just a track, you know.
But I also don't think he had a problem with that too. That's the thing.
True.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we got G, but right now she's on mute. So if she can hear us, if you can unmute your right on cue. Can you hear us?
G, you with us?
Okay.
We're gonna try to get that worked out so we can get it
worked out. Man, Murder Music was the only Mobb joint that actually went platinum. Like hearing that statement,
that's crazy.
Like we're
hold on. You're telling me that the Infamous is not platinum?
Nah, they didn't get a plaque for that one. It's still like
not even gold.
It's gold. Yeah, it's gold. I'm sorry, they didn't get a platinum plaque yet.
That's not surprising to me at all, though. Actually,
really?
No. I mean, like I look at it. Like, look at how long it took for Illmatic to go platinum.
True.
Like, that's from that era. You know?
Yeah, no, like, I get that. I just figured like over time that it would have get like Things Fall Apart just got their platinum plaque last year.
So was Quiet Storm that, like, I know it's like one of the greatest rap songs ever, and the remix is one of the best.
Tunnel banger,
but
Kim sold it.
But it had people that enthused to get the album that one went platinum and Infamous didn't. That's what y'all are telling me. That's what happened.
I know people that bought that album just for that. You know what I mean? They went back because if I remember correctly, it wasn't originally even supposed to be on the album, the remix, and they went and added it. It's the final track on there because they was like, yo, this shit is huge.
That's where they added something for the women, yo.
True.
As we know, man, women buy records, yo. And that was the track that the women could get behind. And then I think is that the joint that had 112 on it too?
No, that was Infamy.
That's Infamy?
Infamy, yeah, because that had Burn on there too.
Hey Love.
Yeah. Hey Love, that was one of them joints that that was fire, man.
It was.
Do we got full Dynasty?
I don't know, man.
I just saw her.
I know. I just saw her.
Faces all over the place.
I think she's still trying to navigate it.
She might be using her phone.
Yeah, I think it's tough on the phone. Yeah, Hey Love was one where people were like, all right, Mobb, like,
y'all niggas getting soft?
Yeah. They were like, all right now, okay.
Yo, but P's verse is still very vulgar, yo.
It is.
I think that's what made people all right with it. Like, they was like, oh, okay. Once they heard it. But, like, I mean, anytime you got a song with 112 and you not Bad Boy, you everybody just looking like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely this a departure from what they normally did. Let's talk about The Alchemist a little bit. Like his relationship with P is something that will definitely go down when you think about producers and rappers. Pretty much they brought the best work out of each other towards the end. Is that a fair statement, you guys think?
I mean, other than Have, yeah, I think that's like he's almost like an unofficial member of Mobb because he has collab projects with Just Have, and then he has, of course, all the collab joints with P. So
what do you think, Reem? What do you think? What do you think about Alchemist and P?
I mean, he is the third member of Mobb Deep. If there's a fifth Beatle, then there's the third member of the Mobb, like, and then it will be out.
Yeah. I always like there's a video that's going around now that's showing P when they're working on Hold You Down, which was like a joint that I always loved that song. I always thought it was.
I love that. I had that sample
with the sample, And they're showing P, I guess, kind of rehearsing his verse with Alk, and he's actually playing it live while he's going over his verse, and he's telling him, I need an extra down here because I want to say this, and I need another down here. Like, and when you go back and listen to the verse, it's like, ooh, yeah, he did kind of. It wasn't in the same sequence. You can see where he did add it out of sequence a little bit. Like,
didn't Alchemist do Getaway?
Yeah.
Too?
Yeah.
With that same kind of where the beat shit out you.
Yeah, man.
Get away. That was my joint.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Alchemist did Keep It Thorough. I mean, you mentioned that several times.
So correction. Getaway was actually Easy LP.
Oh.
Easy LP. But it was on Alchemist album though, right?
Is that our first?
It was on Infamy.
Oh, okay. No, I'm thinking about Hold You Down was on
Alchemist
album.
Yeah, that's on First Infantry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Getaway. Easy LP did
he did Getaway.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, shout out to Easy LP because that joint's fire too.
Yeah, it is definitely. That is kind of like Infamy is a little. It is like a underrated. Like Burn is like a top.
Oh yeah.
Yo, when that joint come on in a that was a tunnel banger too. Yo, that was
when that came on. Yeah.
Only thing worth Vita being on, yo.
Yeah, that
she did that thing in Belly.
That was probably the highlight of her career, honestly.
Yeah,
she had the other joint with I Want to Be Your Chick. She was on that. I mean, that was a big song. I mean, not saying she was the reason why people liked it, but
well, you talking about the Ja joint?
Yeah, she was on there. It was her, Charlie, and
Charlie,
and Ashanti, and it was somebody else.
I stand by my statement. Yo.
Yeah, I'm still rocking with Burn.
I tried, Vita. I tried.
Yeah,
I tried for you.
Yeah, I'm still rocking with Burn.
The He Holders was not having it though.
Nah, I stand by my statement.
What did you guys think about the G Unit era? How are we going to remember that?
On G Unit related activities, man.
Let the people know, man. What is your?
I'm not a fan of most things G Unit. Like 90% of things G Unit related. Just I don't rock with it.
Like, do you think it happened as a necessary move for them to kind of reinvent themselves?
Like, it definitely helped them, because it exposed them to a whole new audience. Because a lot of 50 was on the album that they did for G Unit. He was on like 3 or 4 songs, so it exposed them. I mean, I guess it didn't get them a platinum plaque, from what you read,
or gold.
but it did go gold, and I remember that video, the joint with the weird science video, being on all the time.
Yeah, got it twisted.
Yeah. So
I think it was crucial with them getting their business right independently.
Absolutely.
Right, because they made the transition from Loud and they were kind of free agents and trying to figure some things out, and then as we see with almost every artist ever that gets shipped over to Jive, you got a whole bunch of label politics and inactivity that comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely happened with Infamy dropping in 2001, and then America's Nightmare basically almost coming out 3 years later. And then, of course, P had his legal troubles that he was battling, and of course, as we know, health issues too. So, I mean, they had a lot of things, to contend with. And then eventually, once we get into the digital age where we kind of are now, a few years back, they actually had a few moments. They had one moment in particular where Havoc said that he got hacked and whatnot. But I think the most trying thing about that was and Fat Joe probably said it best. He was like, you never want to see a group like Mobb Deep. You always just want to, in your mind at least, think that everything is all good. But brothers fight and brothers have issues. It's just tough when you see it in public like that.
Yeah.
So it was great to have them patch it up and be able to perform basically all the way up until, his last day, which is,
Yeah, man. I watched the Roots Picnic performance, and I mean, they did their thing, and it's like, damn, just think like less than 2 weeks later.
Who's seen him live? Who has seen the Mobb live?
I've seen him live. I've seen him live like 3 times.
I saw them twice,
and I missed them at the Roots Picnic, fucking around with traffic.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
I didn't. And it's one of them things. I feel bad now because when they were here, they were at the Norva, and it was on a weekday, and I was like, man, I'm coming out of work. I'm tired. I didn't go, and I was like, I'll catch them. You know we've said this on the show many a times. You can't if you have the opportunity, you should try to appreciate the artists while you can't give them the flowers while they can smell them. I don't even like saying that no more. It kind of got pilfered. But you just gotta appreciate the artists, when you can. So the last time that they were in VA, I could have seen them and didn't. But also at the same time, the last time I saw them, it was Quiet Storm time. So they were on top, as far as they were at the top of the game as far as performing. They were performing with the Roots, which made it even dope. Just to hear Quiet Storm played by the Roots was just fire anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I never actually really made it to. I think they may have come out at a show that I was at once, and they, maybe did like Shook Ones, but and this was probably like 15 years ago. I never actually saw a show headlined by them. So, I mean, I'm just shaking my head at that right now. When you talk about P's career, of course, one of the many things that you could talk about is beef, which we touched on. But looking back at the whole, Summer Jam screen thing, I mean, what is that still going to go down as one of the biggest beefs, or like has that kind of died down since? Like it became a catchphrase in the hood and became a moment that people brought up, don't get put on this Summer Jam screen. But I mean, I think now that that's died down, it's lost a little bit of its luster. What do you guys think?
I think it did more for Summer Jam than it did to help Jay-Z or hurt Prodigy. It kind of boasted Summer Jam. It's like, oh, what's going to happen now at Summer Jam? And they kind of milked it to death. But I mean, it was. I mean, as far as their beef, it took it to another level because it brought up the past. I mean, you could pull anybody's picture when they're a kid and juxtapose it against their current, and most people are going to be like, that was my awkward phase or whatever. But I don't think, as P said, that shit you pulled ain't do me no damage, he still had a career. It didn't end his career. It didn't stop him from touring around the world, making music. He's came up with, a half dozen or more albums since then, so.
When you sit back and think of it from like a grown man perspective or just an adult perspective, like that shit is kind of corny. Like, nah, because like, I really been sitting here like thinking about it, and like, when you go into this man's history, like, you just realize that, like, now this dude was like raised, like he was raised and he was engaged in shit that a lot of kids don't have access to. Like, when you really start to dig into this dude's like history, like you'll find out that like his great grandfather 3 times over, like, helped found Morehouse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
His grandmother ran a dance studio. That's where that picture comes from. Like, it's kind of like the same shit with Pac, where like, this dude was doing shit to enrich his life that, paid dividends in the entertainment he was able to provide, Like, he experienced so much shit that he was able to talk about, a multitude of things that, like, as you get older, you have a greater appreciation for that shit, because like you feel sorry for Bodie in The Wire when he's like, I never fucking left Baltimore. This nigga never been off his block. Like, that shit becomes sad, yo.
Yeah, and it's real life Bodie's out there.
Word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Reem, you know about Hempstead. You know, I've heard people mention just his family and you know, it being like a talented family that was into the arts. He had you know, family members that were jazz musicians. They were in singing groups. You know, like it was a long list of achievers, like people that used their talents and were entertainers. So yeah, what you're saying in terms of like him being raised and him being, because I think that's one of the best things that you can do, besides of course giving your children healthy food and putting them in a, you know, a stable environment. One of the best things you can do is try to enrich them and try to unlock certain things through the arts.
Exposing to different things, yeah.
In sports, like that shows that you're trying to give them, unlock something that may not come out if they don't necessarily get that, you know, whether it be the arts or whether it be sports or whether it be you teaching them the trade that you've already mastered. And I like to see that from anybody. So it's cool when that's a part of someone's backstory, and it's a shame that it came out that way, because I didn't know about his background in terms of that until that picture came out. And I was like, even when that came out, like I was like, I'm a big J fan, but I was like, yo, that was weak.
Well, see,
like, I didn't like that.
I think the thing that made it so powerful then is because we didn't have any context around it. Like, most people didn't know that his grandma owned the dance studio and that, you know, as a kid he participated. So I mean, when you put it in the proper context, it's not that big of a deal. But I think it was just the shock and awe of it when you originally, because the way that it was presented, it made it seem like he was like Alfonso Ribeiro in the Michael Jackson commercials. Like that was and not saying that's a bad thing, but that's the like kind of like the portrayal that it made it seem it was. But also, according to P, you know, his grandma dance studio had stallions, and you know he was at the stables quite often. As
shout out to Ashanti, man. Shout out.
Yes. So I mean, just for that alone, once I actually read the book, you know, and I was like, yo, if even a quarter of that part of it is true, it's like, yo, you throw my picture on the Summer Jam screen, yo.
Like, yo, that's the thing too, yo. Like, I'm like, let's call a spade, man. Like, nah, Jay is corny for that shit, cause that's a straight bite of Easy, yo. That's a straight bite of Easy when he did the Dre, and like, yo, he was able to get that same response because nobody's respecting that, because, yo, when we think of P, we think of this tatted up little dude, like, yo, spitting some of the hardest shit in the world. And then, you know, you see the shimmery, you know, sequin shit, and you're like, look at this corny ass nigga. But like, yo, that's a straight fucking Easy bite, yo. And like, to pull that shit off on a kid, like, no, like, cause now everybody comes, like, yo, if you put like anybody's kid anywhere, like, yo, wolves are coming for your head, yo.
Yeah.
But it's Clarence's parents had a very good marriage. You know, I mean, you take somebody's past and use it against them. You know, I mean, that it's not a bad thing that your parents had a good marriage.
Oh,
you know,
yo, that nigga is probably jealous on the low.
Yeah.
Because his pop died. He didn't cry because he didn't know him that well. You know, so, and you know, his from all appearances, P's home life as a young kid was pretty good. You know, the way that he told it in the book. You know,
I don't know about that, yo. When this nigga is talking about like going out with his pops and robbing shit, like,
well, I mean, that was later on, but I mean, like, when he also
like
said
9-10 when that shit was happening.
But no, he also said he had like two home lives. Like, when he was with his parents, it was one, but his grandma, it was like he felt rich when he was at his grandma's house, but then he would, you know, he go back to the hood with his pop, and it was just like, you know, it was like that duality, which that had to be interesting. I wonder why he didn't live with his grandma. That I always wondered that, you know, if it was that drastic.
I mean, yo, from what I know, like, yo, him and his mom's, like, you know, were very, very close. Him and his mom's is very, very close. You know, his pop died from AIDS or whatever, and I think he was locked up when his pop died or some shit like that. But
yeah,
like I know, like him and his mom's was really, really close. So much so that, like, you know, she was managing the group at one point. And you know, like, this nigga put out his rant in 2008 talking about all the trends he set. And like, yo, they were the first group to have a presence on the internet, yo. And she was running the site and, you know, handling the business, yo. Like, niggas were trendsetters.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's fine.
I mean, he is just going back to the book. I mean, anyone that has not either read it or had the pleasure of listening to the audio book, I mean, it's definitely
you gotta listen to the audio book because
that's what I'm saying, yo. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, yo, that audio, it's like a mix of fucking Daniel Stern playing Kevin Arnold in the Wonder slash a nigga who is just like, okay, officer, this is what happened. Like, yo, that shit is crazy.
I was gonna say it felt like one long ass Prodigy interlude.
Yeah.
But in the best possible way. Like that like the Keisha Cole story is all that. That's one of my favorite stories in there. One of the things that was hilarious that we did get some humor out of this tragedy. The chant was like, he's like, P missed his shot with Mary J. Because in the book he talked about how he had such a big crush on her. You know what I mean? And he was feeling that she was always in a relationship. And she was like, Mary's single now. He's like, man, he could have got at her.
Yeah. No, but the audio book, like I said, like some people have read the book. That's cool. But anybody that you just looking to just get away, no pun intended, just for a minute and kind of just listen to somebody, like it's just so raw, and to just hear his voice like that. Like I've actually listened to it twice.
He put his life down. He put his lifetime in between the papers and lines.
I was like, you know, this is gold. That's the first audio book I really had ever listened to, and I was like, yo, this is amazing.
That shit is pure comedy, yo. I
remember listening to that time and calling Vi and being like, yo, you have to. I know you said you got the book. I was like, you have to get the audio book. Yo.
Yeah, I had. Yeah, I was like, man,
you
all right.
To. And I remember you asked me, like, does he read it? And I was like, he sure does, yo.
Nah, that's great. I wish more rappers would. I know a lot of the things that, you know, that they've done in the past, maybe, you know, they're afraid of talking about them. But I think audiobooks, I mean,
I'm not prepared, Joe. I'm not ready for it. You're not ready. I'm not ready for every rapper's Little John voice.
Not every rapper, but I mean, like if Nori came out with an audio book, I mean, come on.
No, I'm not ready for his Little John voice, show. I'm not ready for it. Like, yo, these niggas, yo, Don, what up? And then he's like, Nori got punched in the face.
No, you know who I want. You know who I want to do an audio book so bad, yo. I might.
E40. Don't say E40.
No, not 40. Oh, no, that would be great too. I need T.I. to do one.
No.
I need T.I. to do one but I gotta have my thesaurus and my dictionary next to me as I.
He probably will. That wouldn't surprise me.
That joint would be that. You know, he got plenty of stories, but yeah, that would be
That would be definitely one. But no, P. First of all, salute to him for even writing the book, because that's a feat in and of itself. You know, and then to actually write a good book, I mean, it was highly entertaining. You know, some people debate some of the stuff that was in the book, and that's neither here nor there. I'm strictly from an entertainment standpoint. It was a highly entertaining book, and if you're not a rap fan, I think people would enjoy the book just because his life was wow, yo. I mean, it was, you know, entertainment.
Yeah. No, definitely. Again,
He also has a cookbook.
Yeah, I was about to say. He has all types of. It's a prison cookbook.
Yeah.
So it's teaching you how to make the best out of the worst.
Yeah, how to eat healthy in the worst situations.
Yeah. Man, we just had to just convene. We're gonna probably just get a message from G. Looks like she wanted to contribute, but we just had some difficulties getting her on. But we'll definitely just try to just get a message from her that we'll definitely play when we put this together for everybody to listen to. We just wanted to just have a conversation, just talk about someone that you know, we grew up listening to. You know, someone that's not that much older than us, and you know, that had a profound impact on just how we view the world and how we listen to music. And you know, just pay homage, pay some homage to him, and just let people know if you are someone that's struggling with the fact that he's no longer here. You know, we are kind of in the same boat with you, and we're hoping that you know, he's gone but not forgotten. So I mean, I'm just gonna just give the floor to you guys, and anything else you just wanted to say about P, let it rip.
I mean, I got a lot, but I just kind of want to put it in a perspective like this. Langston Hughes was first published like in his 20s. James Baldwin was first published in his 20s. Ralph Ellison was first published when he's 15. Like, rap and hip hop artists, these are our laureates now. You know, they are saying some of the most profound things that are poetic, introspective. They have so much complexity and depth to it. And, you know, outside of you know, knowing that hip hop is not a fad, I would hope that there would be a conscious return to having substantive messages in songs. You know, I'm feeling like I'm watching my childhood like just die in front of me, and what it's being replaced with, like I want no parts of that shit. Like, that shit is straight garbage, like garbation to the fucking umph level. Like I can't fuck with it. But these dudes rocking do-rags with fucking jeans 8 times their fucking size and shit like that. Like, they have something to say. And if you listen, like, I think everybody can find appreciation in this shit. You got fucking Alex Jones. Alex Jones is fucking putting out tweets with Prodigy's lyrics, yo. I hate that motherfucker, as do most people. You know, this nigga is a caper for Trump. But this dude, like, I would have never guessed that I could have a commonality with this dude in fucking Albert Johnson.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like I said, hip hop has a lot of literary scholars, and
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that, like, maybe Harvard does some shit for P one day, or somebody else. A matter of fact, fuck it. Like, let one of these HBCUs do some shit. Like, for real. Like, this is our culture.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to get them on board, yo. That was dope, Reem. I don't really know of if I should even say anything else after that.
Yo, Reem got more. Don't stop there, man. If you got something else to say,
I mean,
yo,
keep going.
I got Jules Infinite, son.
Hey, man, we here. Let's get it.
I got Jules Infinite. But
Drop a gem on it.
Nah, I mean, like I said, I haven't fully processed all of this, but it's great to see the outpouring and how many people are touched by this shit. I mean, you got Justin Timberlake talking about, I wish I knew this dude. You know, people that he was beefing with. I mean, Keith Murray, like, has something on IG. Like, yo, people are really feeling this shit, yo.
Yeah.
And
playing Shook Ones at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, man.
That was amazing, yo.
I always got to give it up to those dudes in Atlanta who do the traffic report whenever somebody passes, because they always integrate.
I saw that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Pop shit into it and lyrics and songs and shit like that.
And Michael and Jamel on Sports Center, they definitely gave him a bunch of shout outs, referencing a lot of his lyrics and song titles and everything within the highlights they were doing.
Like, this shit is crazy because it's like, yo, he's the dude that, like, yo, you always kind of expected, like, would pass because you knew he was sick the entire time. Just never expected it to actually happen, though.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like here, and it's like, it's that, like, damn, it's that damn moment. Like, like, yo, what the fuck is going on, man? And, like, you know, we're accustomed to all this shit happening violently. But, yo, when people are just passing because of health issues and nutrition or, like, disease, like, the shit is just, it's bonkers, man. Because, like, again, it puts your own mortality in front of you. Absolutely. How much more you have to lose, especially if you got families.
Yeah,
man.
Man, we're gonna definitely play some joints.
Crying around with Danny P.
Yeah, we're gonna play some joints to go along with this. Phil, I mean, the floor is yours. If you just want to
I just wanted to ask you real quick. I mean, because I've been listening to stuff all day. What's some of y'all favorite Prodigy guest verses, like joints that wasn't on Mobb Deep or his solo albums?
Oh man.
Well, of course, I mean we mentioned it, but I listened to I Shot Your remix probably about 5 times last night, and
amazing verse.
It actually made me think, like, of course, Keith being on there setting it off, and Foxy, you know, kind of making her like real
debut.
National debut, and Joe being on there. It hypothetically just made me think, like, just with L being on there and with P being on there and then repping Queen so hard, I was like, what if L would have been able to make this like a Queens joint? You know, it just had like P, Nas, like, I don't know. I just thought about that when I was listening to it. I was like,
stupid.
That would have been ill. But I don't know. I think about stuff like that sometimes. But that's definitely one of them. That really stands out. But when you think about it, though, when you take away, like, you know, Alchemist and, like you said, the Mobb joints, his guest features aren't as robust.
Nah, man, he's got features, B.
Yeah, I mean, he got a lot.
Trust
I know, like, when he was on like the Pete Rock joint.
Pete
Yeah,
Rock
he did the
joint,
Osme Shot remix with Exhibit, which is one
Yeah.
of my favorite joints.
But had a bunch of shit with G-Rap.
G-Rap. He was on another LL joint called Queens, I think. Queens.
Yeah, man. Like
I'm
yo,
saying,
Raekwon. He's on a new he's on a new AZ album.
Yeah, he is.
Want to save them.
Just from the standpoint, I'll say this just to clarify. Just from the standpoint of him being so prolific, I mean he has a lot of joints that he just like HNIC 1, 2, 3, like Albert Einstein. Like he did a lot of solo work. And yeah, he did a lot of Mobb work. He did a lot of
Mobb work.
He did a lot of Alchemist joints. But I'm saying just in terms of just for him to be revered and respected by so many people, I just felt like just from a guest standpoint, there's some joints.
Live Nigga Rap is another great
Live
one.
Nigga Rap, Thun and Kiko. I mean, yo, you have to realize that there are fucking like 1,000
the Dun language.
rappers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yo, P.
Like 1,000 QB rappers.
Yo, P has some of the funniest lines, yo.
Use a notebook crook with loose leaf beef.
What's better than the Dun language though?
Yo, my shit hang down on my dick. My shit bang glass tables.
Yeah.
Infamous Mobb Bonics, yo.
Yeah. No, the Dun language is
for the little Duns, yo.
Yeah. With the drilly with that though, it ain't banging. Yeah.
Gotta love it. Yo.
Like, yo, you gotta realize, like, yo, he's on tracks with fucking Littles. Bars and Maze Mussolini. Like, yo, there's 1,000 scribbles.
But hold up though, he also got a joint with Childish Gambino though. So I mean, he's all over
everywhere.
He got joints with Waka. You know what I mean? So P was Mac Miller. He got joints with French. So I mean, it's not.
Yo, he's got tracks with everybody. He's on the new Steel and the Building Bridges shit.
Yeah, the Building Bridges joint. He did a couple joints with K Slay on his albums. He was I mentioned the Griselda Boys, but he got a bunch of joints with Conway and Westside Gunn.
Yeah, he's everywhere, yo.
Yeah, Currency, your favorite vibe?
No. Yeah, shout to P, man.
Oh man.
The Dun language though, you could definitely have a side conversation with somebody and
what's your favorite word in the Dun language, yo?
Nigga, I said that shit coming to school, yo.
What?
Yo, from fucking 95 to 2000, like no, from 95 to 97. That's what I said. That shit was just in my
the Dun language. Yeah. What's my favorite thing? I mean, Dun is just so ill. And for somebody not from New York, you know, people clown New Yorkers by saying "son done," like, you know, "son done" or whatever.
Herb.
But yeah, like people could understand "son," but it's like Dun just took them to another place because they just thought that it was so absurd. But we got it though. We understood what it was. But yeah, like I've heard people like try to yell "son done God" or whatever. But
son done God be. No, the Kiko might be my favorite, yo, because I'm not quite even sure what it means. I mean, I know how to use it.
Yeah.
But in context, I understand, but I don't know like where it came from. But it just
like, yo, like I'm out Philadelphia, Selfia. Like
P's not helping you.
Like,
I think he just needed that to rhyme though. I think he just was like, yo, I'm gonna make this shit rhyme.
But it was perfect though. It was just like it just worked.
Yeah, man, because I what else? It was another one. Oh, kill none, let none die. I don't even know if he's the one that said it, but it's on the joint, so I'm giving him credit for it.
Yeah. Nah, man, it's cool, man. And he's got some joints obviously that he's done. Static said that they work together, and he's on you know, the upcoming project with him. So,
and that's another. I mean, it's a bygone era, but the print ad Yo, he had two of my all-time favorite actual print ads. I'm gonna post both the Done Different joint on the Loud campaign was one of my favorites when they had their whole different campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we were waiting for HNIC to come out, and you know this was the era of the Pushback album. So he was just sitting on a throne made of ice, and it said on ice till 2000, you know. So that I always thought that was just one of, and he had the Air Force Ones on. Those are that ad, you know. I remember buying the Source and seeing that and just being even more excited for the album. I wasn't even mad no more that the album was pushed back. I was just hyped, like, you know, this shit is gonna be crazy.
I saw you press 100 copies of those, by the way.
Oh. Yo, man, I might have got shot, stabbed, and knuckled down, or whatever the fuck if them dudes ever came to the spot.
I saw you press 100 copies.
Oh my God, HNIC.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, we ate lovely off of HNIC. I'm sorry, Pete.
Yeah.
Hey man, I had to eat though.
But no, we just real quick, just to add to that, like the night that it came out, the night that it actually premiered, I remember like people coming by to like get it.
It was like crack. It was literally like crack. People was coming by, knocking on the door, like, "Yo, hey man, you got that?"
Yeah. It was one of those albums like that. Like people wanted it immediately. They didn't even want to wait to buy it if they could, and people still bought it, but they definitely wanted the early copy.
Yeah. And one last thing before we get out of here, I have to tell this story because it brings home a lot of what you guys were saying tonight. The first time I ever saw Mobb Deep in person, and I think I might have told this story on one of the shows before, but I worked in the mall at A&W, the hot dog place, and right across the mall, like directly across from our store, was a clothes store that was kind of, you know, like urban fashion or whatever. And Mobb Deep was doing the in-store, you know, for the kids. That's when the artists would come sit in the store and sign autographs and sign albums or whatever. So they're in there and I'm working, you know. They come over, and this is the first time I'm ever seeing them in person. This is in 95, maybe 96. I want to say it was not in like towards the end of 95, but they come over to get cups of ice for the Hennessy. And they're like, "Yo, y'all, how much for ice?" And I'm like, "That's heavy." You know, and I'm like, "Yo, I'm looking eye to eye with this boy." and I'm 5'4". So I'm like, "Yo, this dude, you couldn't tell on the video that these was little dudes. Like, they had complimentary angles, like for real, in the videos." So I'm like, "Yo, these dudes be talking wow, and they my size." I see P coming in. I'm looking at him eye to eye, and this dude has a jug of Hennessy. I don't even think they make this size anymore, but it was literally a gallon jug of Hennessy. He's like, "You want some, son?" "Hell yeah, I do, P." And so I got my little A&W cup, and I just went, and you know, we did a little toast. Got my chest all burned up, and I was like, "Yo, this is crazy." And this is way before the Instagram era, you know, and camera phones and everything. So I don't have an actual. I was at work. I didn't have a camera or anything to take the picture. I always wish I could have got that moment, not even so much because I met Mobb Deep, but just because of that fucking, like, just so people could really understand how big this thing of Hennessy was, and these dudes was little, like, and I was like, "Yo," and like thinking about like learning about what sickle cell and how you're not even supposed to be drinking if you have sickle cell. I'm like, "Yo, how is this dude even doing this?" Like it was just one of those moments that kind of defined who he was and who they were. So, and it was just real cool. But they were real cool. They wasn't, you know, acting super tough or nothing. They was just cool ass dudes that just needed some ice for their Hennessy. You know what I mean?
Gotta love it.
Yeah, man. I was mad they didn't say done though. They didn't say they said son mad times, but they didn't know. I didn't hear them say done at all.
Yeah. But yeah, man, we definitely wanted to get this conversation out here. Of course, again, we're gonna get G's comments. We want to make sure we just get something from her really quick. Reem, as always, man, thank you for joining us. Thank you for
Absolutely, man.
Just having this moment with us.
3/4 of the brick.
Nah, man, I appreciate y'all having me as always.
It's family,
Right.
man.
That's right. And we're gonna knock some Mobb, to get out of here. So once again, thank everybody for listening. Yeah, man, infamous forever.
You know what it is. Work for the money, live for the love, and die for what you believe in. This is Tissue and the Tape. Kill none, let none die.